Round 22, Friday Night Lights. Let's get into it with the Waz and the Eels to kick things off, and then stay a little bit later for some blow-ups and some try assists again. It's non-stop at the moment, but yeah, we'll get into that in a second. Hopefully we can get some try assists from these plays. But Gutho, the Gutherino with the 79, and a big win for the Eels that gets them away from being near the bottom of the ladder. Obviously getting a win ahead of the Tigers there, which is good for them, led by Gutho at the front with 5 goals as well. Kicked really well in this one. So 79 for him, 68 from Rada Niokore with a try. It's something we haven't seen from him for a while. It's a really big score. He's all the way down at 419, so congrats to him. But the big news here, and a big score from Mitch Barnett, 66, almost a runner ball there, 71 minutes for him. 3 offloads, 2 tackle breaks, good tackle numbers, good run meters there as well. So didn't even need any of the attacking stats here, and he's living up to his price tag there at 875 with this 66. And he needs to, if he wants to live up to that price tag, he needs to score that every week. So a high 50s last week, a 66 this week, a really good little spot for Barnett. And annoying as a non-owner because he's just absolutely crushed it the last 2 months there. Dejan Assi actually ended up taking over the 7 role officially. So Brownie hardly kicked the footy. 99 kick meters for Brownie, 540 for Dejan Assi there. So that's the big news there on that front. And that'll be for the rest of the season most likely with Dejan. If you need someone a little bit cheaper, you think that can run the show a bit, get those kick meters, a few run meters, good tackle numbers there as well with 29, then he could be an interesting guy under 400k at 59 points. Chancing Cookstart with a 58. Picked up a try there, 315 meters, so you could not push back on his effort there running the footy. But yeah, a lot of Waz fans are a little bit annoyed with his pace this year, so maybe he's carrying a little bit of a problem because, yeah, it's not really been a problem in his game, is the pace that he runs with. So, yeah, and I think having RTS there, a lot of Waz fans are really wanting Roger there at the back, especially with them not winning too much. So another disappointing match for the Waz, and I mentioned in my tipping that I was going to stick with the Warriors, but I did have this feeling that the Eels would come over the top and win. I just really hoped that it wouldn't be the case at home as well, but it was. Dylan Brown. Wow, what a turnaround. I was a little bit annoyed, obviously, as a non-owner, but 9 at halftime, I was cheering into this 57-point onslaught. I think it was at 55 with almost 10 minutes to go as well, so really slowed down, thank goodness, in that back end. But any owners of him or loopers, you'd be very, very happy with that. Ended up with a line break, 2 try assist effort, good run meters, 4 tackle breaks, and an offload as well, was really, really nice. What about the turnaround from Brendan Hands? He obviously copped a head knock, had to go off. Thankfully, for owners of him, was able to come back on with that 52 points there. 45 tackles, 1 line break assist, 1 tackle break there with a turnover tackle as well. It was a great score, and even a forced dropout. So Brendan Hands had a cracker of a game in the end there and helped them get the win. Considering they had the ball plenty, scoring 30 points, he still was able to make big tackles as well. With Blaze Talangi with a 50 for him, such a special talent, isn't he? A try assist, a line break, and a try as well. So good stuff for Blaze. Anyone who's still got him, hopefully you were able to loop. And if you didn't, at least it was a decent score. And yeah, good to see him playing well in that front there, on that front there. SJ at 47 with a goal, 3 try assists. And yeah, unfortunately just, can't help them get the win. At the moment, anyone that jumped on him at 658 basically scored what he's priced at there. For Ryan Madison, a 46 in 59 minutes. The minutes are probably a little bit low, or lower than what you'd prefer. No offloads in here, just the 1 tackle break and a few negatives there at 9. You would hope for better, but still 46 for what he's priced at. He will go up in price, and it's not the end of the world, especially when we'll get into Adam Fanua-Blake in a second with his 39 at a much higher price. Offengawe with 46 in 53 minutes. He's had a great little month of footy, and yeah, if you did pick him up, awesome work. Probably not a buy now, given he'll be closer to 500 after this, but should score around that 40 mark going forward. Sean Lane with a 45 in this one. Wasn't as damaging as he was last week, but still a solid score at 45. Lea Ta'ua with a 45 as well, so he's showing his chops as a strong outside back in this league, so good stuff for him with that 45 there, with just the 1 lot of attacking stats, good tackle numbers there on that one for Ali. Wade Egan with a 44, 57 minutes for him, so actually started off the bench and came on after 23 minutes. Had a pretty good score for playing lower minutes, so you'll take that for sure as owners, but it's a big worry him being off the bench. He is 505k though, so there's only so much you can get out of someone at that price for the most part. Roger at 42 with a try for him, so Good to see him scoring scoring decently, even not at fullback in this one. Was able to get some good run meters there and then pick up that try and the 4 tackle breaks. Cartwright with a 41. Fortunately, a little bit low for him. Only the 1 tackle break, 1 offload there, 4 missed tackles, 54 run meters. He's someone that if you can get him sort of 120 run meters, he's going to get tries, he's going to get try assists, he's going to get offloads and tackle breaks there as well. So it wasn't to be there for Bryce in this one, but a 70 last week. Hopefully you got that if you bought him in that week. Dallin, 41 for him with a try, 204 run meters was good stuff. Regan, 58 minutes still, but not as high on the score in this one with a 41, so that was a little bit unfortunate. You had Adam Fanua-Blake, the big one here, 58 minutes, so a little bit lower on that front, 39 points, 26 tackles, 135 run meters, only 3 tackle breaks, no offloads, and no tries like he got in previous weeks. So an unfortunate one for Adam in this one and his owners, but I imagine the majority of people, if you're one of the guys that bought him this week, it's unfortunate, but the majority of people have copped his good scores over the last 3 weeks there, which means this one doesn't hurt as much, that's for sure. Yeah, Just Tavanga come on and play some decent minutes just with the loss of Dylan Walker there. Unfortunate for Dylan in that one, but we'll get to him in a sec. Kurt Capewell there, 34. Harris DeVita, 34 as well. Graham Taffa with a 31 in this one. If you end up going for him as the cheaper guy, still a pretty solid score there. Joey Lussick coming on and picking up a try. Good on him. Penasini, a low one for 28. A little bit unfortunate on that front. If you do still own him, hopefully he's one of those guys you've used as an upgrade if you were to do that, given he's a player in the second to bottom team on the ladder. Luca Moretti there, one of the cash cows you could have picked up this week. Still got 33 minutes, but just a bit of a lower score at 27, but not the end of the world for that one. Anyone with Halasima, a 22 for him in 33 minutes. So yeah, a bit better on that front, but still very low run meters at 29. What about Jake Tungo? He was actually on 25 after like 20 minutes or so after he scored that try, and then just plodded along. And then unfortunately went down from there with a sin bin as well. So a bit of a rough second half to this game. And then the big one there is obviously Dylan Walker. If you did decide to pick him up, we had a bit of a choice in my partner's team, and she decided that Dylan Walker was the play. I'd mentioned, maybe, you like Val. Maybe you pick Val. It just didn't happen in this one. Just the inconsistent scoring was her reason for Val. And Walker had been hitting 50s and 60s. And I was like, yep, fair play. He should be able to continue doing that. And unfortunately copped that head knock, and that hurt him there. So let's move on to the second game, where you get to hear me complain a little bit. Seems to be a half regular occurrence. Okay, so why are there so many points at the moment? 74 points in this one, 50 in the second one, 78 points in that first game. So if you're someone that has a player that wants a lot of tackles and some run meters, not to be at the moment. But let's get through the elephant in the room first. Max Plath. How is he not awarded a try assist for that one to Felice Kafusi? Disgusting. So he's gone faked left, come back to the right, got a few steps out of dummy half, got him on the outside shoulder of the defender, Felice, one-on-one, and goes over for an easy try because of what Plath did. And he noticed that, and he goes, all right, I can exploit this. Gets out of dummy half, obviously fakes the left, gets out to the right, and hits him short. It's a try assist every day of the week. I don't understand. Like, yes, they've changed this rule. I get that. But get it for the ones where there's no shape, there's nothing happening. They just pass it to them. They're the last pass, and then they do all the work themselves. I completely understand that. But Plath created that assist. He created that try. It's like there's never a question mark on if it's going across to the left, right? Pass, pass, pass. It gets to the center. They run 1 meter and then pass it to the winger, or they just catch and pass. All they've been there is the person in the line that's caught the ball and passed the ball, and they get the assist every day of the week because it obviously passes out into a gap. This is crafty number 9 play, and that's not a try assist. I don't understand that in any way. That's way more of a try assist than the last person passing the ball center to the wing. So I'm not sure about that, how that one works out. So that's Plath. We'll get into him in a sec. But then Watson's one. These are obviously my players, but these are 2 very glaringly popular players in the game. Watson on the left-hand side to Satilli. Same thing. Gets out, runs 3 steps out of dummy half. Gets him one-on-one with his defender on the left He gets out on the left-hand side, so the right shoulder of the defender. There was no way he was stopping it. Watson noticed that. He went down the short side and got it out to him. In what world is that not a try assist? I don't understand how that one works either. So both of them should be awarded try assists. They rewarded them in Supercoach straight away. Not a problem. How it should be. So, yeah, not sure about how that one works out. So that's my rant. Both of those should be try assists. I call it out if it's other players as well. If I'm watching that or if someone messages and asks, I'll go back and look at it as well. But yeah, it just seems to happen. It's just happening with this dummy half one at the worst at the moment. And we obviously have a lot of players that play that position right now. You know, I've got Watson in that 9 role playing different minutes there for Brandon Smith covering. And then Plather's playing 9 as well. So I've got Cook, we've got Starling, got all these guys, and they should be getting their just deserves. But let's go to Watson now. The 45 and 74 minutes, another game where he had to move to centre. He obviously came back on from Nat Butcher when he got hurt. They're just having so many injuries at the moment, and he's also not playing 80. So he's changed from being an 80-minute 13 to being having to cover a lot of positions and not playing 80 minutes now. So it's a bit of a mess for Watson and his owners. I bought him at 780k 3 weeks ago, and I've picked up a 31, a 40, and a 45. So pretty rough on that front, and that's where that try assist would really be nice. Get into a 52, please and thanks, hopefully by lockout. But in a game like this, when you're someone that makes 55 tackles, 50 tackles on a regular basis, even if it was 65, 70 minutes, right, he'd still make 50 tackles. But in a game where 74 points, like defense has just gone completely out the window. So we're getting a little bit unlucky as Watson owners just for the way that how many points are actually in these games, but we're also getting unlucky with the minutes and obviously him moving around into cover centers and then missing tackles when he goes out there, because he had 1 tackle and then came on. He actually lost points in his last 9 minutes because he was out in the centers and didn't get any ball and missed a couple of tackles. So pretty rough on that front for Watson. Plathy there with 56, a terrific try from dummy half. 36 tackles for 2 misses, 4 tackle breaks, 65 meters run. So getting out from dummy half, learning his trade a little bit more. That's great news for Plath and his owners. So I'm very happy on that front. Speaking of guys that are absolutely dominant, Sammy Walker, he deserves all the praise in this one. Picked up a line break, obviously 2 tries there, kicked really well, 8 goals there, 5 tackle breaks. Missed a few tackles, but no errors, and got his team around the park and helped them win, obviously, there in that one. So good stuff from him. Terrell, he keeps biting people in the butt, doesn't he? So you lost Lindsay Collins early, and Terrell basically covered those minutes very, very easily there. 54, he was at like 59 or something, so a bit of a downgrade, but a 54 for him in 65 minutes. Those that sold will be spewing, but hopefully with Jared coming back in 2 weeks' time, I think, first game back will be round 24 for him. We should see May come back into some lower minutes there, and obviously Lindsay will get back into gameplay as well, but a great score from Terrell. Farnworth ended up with a 51, picked up a try-saver turnover tackle to go along with his try assist there. Nothing crazy really in the stat line, so a good 51 there. Averillo was 45 in that one with 2 try assists, a really good line break. Got through Tupou actually, which was really surprising to see, and the centre as well. But Satili Tupou with 2 tries, he's loving his moments out in the centres, isn't he? Suoli with a good try early. You had Butcher played 54 minutes. Crichton, that's the other one. So obviously, my players, one was great, one was a little bit underwhelming in that of Watson, just for what I paid for him. But Crichton here, this is the tough one. So I ended up buying him in Supercoach. Didn't go too well. Got that 1 nice try assist, but Crichton missing 9 tackles is really, really strange, isn't it? Like, he had that couple of games there in and around Origin where he was, when he was backing up and all those things, that he was missing a bunch of tackles, have a couple of errors or a penalty or something like that in there. So negatives were up at that 15 to 20 mark, and that's exactly what it was here with 20 and only 24 tackles, obviously making, attempting 33, making 24. It's very, very poor for how good of a player he is. So that's just cooked him in this one. And the amount of tackles and runs, like under 100 meters. So a bit of a low one for him. Hopefully he does bounce back in a couple of weeks. I don't think many people bought him this week, but if you've been holding all this time, 38 was a little bit rough on that front there. Tupou with a 38, 2 line breaks, a try assist, a try saver, and a try, and still only 38. That's tough going out there. What about Felice Kafusi? The opposite number there, 8 missed tackles for him as well. So with the try, 34 and a line break, not good. Stone 34, Katoa 34 is a bit low, a bit rough for him. 6 tackles made, 1 miss for a half. It's pretty wild that they didn't run at him all night, but that's just, these games get really strange. Unless you're scoring lots of tries and getting involved in all the attacking side of things, it's unfortunately not your type of game. Osaka with a 33, unfortunately, had to go off at the end of the game with a nice big lateral strain. So NRL physio thinks that most likely, if anything, it'll be a 1 week rest, but could be back next week. That these are the ones that have more bark than bite. So there's actually less, more vocal than the actual bite itself. Just to explain the analogy, you probably didn't need that, but that's how I had to think of it myself. I'm like, how does that actually work? There you go. Did me research. Osako 33. So a bit of a low one from him again with that try as well. A bit frustrating, but not the end of the world. And hopefully he is back and you don't have to make that trade. Lemuelu with a 32, just not performing at the moment. So he's going to be very, very cheap coming into next year. That's for sure as well. Brandon Smith with 32. Another guy that's just going to be plodding around in that mid sort of high 400s kind of range coming into next year as well, which will be a fun little decision whether who wants to pick him up next year. I'm sure people will. Bostock with the try, 32 from him. Just couldn't get the win for the Finns there. Radley, 30. Dom Young actually was the issue in this one. Going off with a hamstring issue there, strain or some type of tear, which is not good. So likely to be out at least a few weeks if it's minor. Could be a bit longer if it's not. But good news is he was on a bye this week coming up anyway. And you'll be able to get through that a little bit better, obviously, there with him missing 1 week anyway. Hopefully it's minor and he's back in a few weeks' time. Teddy with a 29. Yuck. He was like mid-30s too, heading into updates as well, and lost a few run meters, obviously some tackle breaks as well, and had two errors, 2 missed tackles, a penalty, and an inside 10. Did have a forced dropout, but a line break in this one. Not his day, and he's had 2 out of the last 3 weeks have gone really, really low. So hopefully for his sake, it's just getting a rest next week, and then he can be back to really good scores. But you look at him and obviously Hammer as well. And that's the sad thing with Ted is that he's highly owned, but he's still, 30-40% of people don't own him in the top 1,000, top 5,000. So a score like this actually really does hurt compared to like a score from Iro or something like that. That's a little bit frustrating with Ted. And then Hammer picked up a try in this one, but extremely low, and same last week. So he was absolutely dominant, scoring tries on a week-to-week basis, and he's still getting the odd attacking stat. But the last 2 weeks he's really fallen off a cliff, which is pretty frustrating there for him. And you're obviously clearly holding, but you need him to start scoring better. And hopefully when he starts playing some lesser teams, but that was the main worry, was that he was going to come up against some of these tougher teams like the Roosters, where you saw here. But so many points in this game for both fullbacks to not be involved. It's a pretty wild thing that you can be 40 points and Teddy doesn't get involved, and 34 and Hammer gets involved in one play. Teddy gets involved in one line break. So crazy how that one worked out. But for Teddy, for them to score 40 points and Teddy and Manu to both go sub 30 is actually ridiculous there. So Manu with a 24 in 70 minutes with that sin bin. It would have only been a little over 30 without the sin bin anyway. So that was that. You had Tessie New come on for 22 minutes. It wasn't too bad in the end. Actually, only missed 1 tackle. Nafahu White with 12, only 15 minutes. So he was like their go-to forward off the bench and starting for a while. He's starting 13, and then he's really fallen off a cliff this year. So things can change so quickly. Like for Collins to only play 16 minutes and White to only get 15 minutes off the back of that was pretty wild. But the wildest thing of the night there was actually the fact that Tavita Pangai Jr. got moved from the starting team straight into 18th man. So if anyone that did jump on him, he's obviously owned by 1.6%, but you'd be absolutely spewing at, he's had to average 27.5 for the year. So it's not super high, but does he get back into the side anytime soon, or does he not? That's the big question mark there. So that's the 2 games done and dusted for Friday. I wonder if things will improve come Saturday. And what I should have done last night, as I said, I had that feeling that Eels were just playing better after how they played the week before. I didn't change that tip, and I should have. The Titans up against the Broncos with Piakura back, they're completely full strength, and I've had that feeling the whole time since I tipped the Titans that I think the better play, Broncos have to win this game. I said that last week, but it was up against a much tougher opposition in the Dogs, and they played great, and Broncos were terrible. So the Titans there, they were down 14-0 to the Dolphins, who are playing average at best. and they obviously come back over the top of them. So if the Broncos play anywhere near their best, they are a better team than the Titans. So I have changed my tip to the Broncos in this one, just to keep you guys in the loop. Storm and the Dragons will be the next one. So hopefully a Storm masterclass there from some of our guys. And then the Sharkies up against the Bunnies in this one. So I wish you guys all the best of luck with that one. I think personally, I'm just going to play Gray and hold my trade there of Willison to Braden Trindle in that one. I think I'm just going to hold steady on that one and see where I'm at. I'm going to be a pretty close one in my head-to-head matchup in the knockout phase and a few other things there. But I think just holding that extra trade, there's still heaps of rounds left, and it does lower after this week down to 5, obviously. But 3 in 5 weeks is still extremely low, so I'm going to hold on to that. And they're the 3 games today, and I hope you enjoy them. And then we'll see you in tomorrow's couple of blockbuster clashes there, with the Panthers up against the Knights, and then the Doggies up against the Raiders. Have a cracking day today, guys. Plenty of sun out around Sydney and up the coast here, so hope you have a cracking day.